All right, guys, we're going to look at some alkenes in food and medicine. This is lycopene. It's really bright red. It's what makes tomatoes red. And you can see there's a lot of double bonds in this. It's also a pretty long compound, which brings us down to beta carotene, which again is a long compound. And it's that orange color in carrots. This is a precursor to vitamin A, so your body will change it to vitamin A. We move on down. Tamoxifen, you can see there's a double bond here, as well as three benzene rings. This is a treatment for breast cancer. It's a drug that has been used as a treatment there. Estradiol, this is a primary estrogen hormone. It's diol, that OL means alcohol, and you can see there's an alcohol group here and there, hence estradiol. Progesterone, this is a hormone that's associated with the menstrual cycle, and you can see this 1, 2, 3, 6 membered rings, 1, 2, 3, 6 membered rings, 5 membered ring, 5 membered ring. Similarity there, right? And then as we move down here, this is testosterone, kind of the hormone associated with men. And here, if we look at these two, you can see they're very, very similar. 6, 6, 6, 5. That's going to be something that you're going to see when we get to hormones. But also, what's interesting between what I think progesterone and testosterone is this everything is the same, except here, testosterone, you have an alcohol group coming off this carbon. And with progesterone, you have this ketone group. So I think that's kind of interesting that little change makes a big difference. Polymers and plastics, these have a lot of these double bonds. So polymers, large molecule repeating units. A monomer is like one of those units. And so PVC, third most produced polymer, PVC pipe looks like this. When we jump to Kevlar, looks like this. We have our double bonds in there. All right. Uh, Polyisobutylene, and that sounds like a lot, but it's actually those like horror movie rubber gloves that you can get. No double bonds here. PTFE, which is your non-stick stuff, no double bonds there. And polypropylene, this is like your most generic plastic right there. So these are all polymers and plastics. And then here's some medical compounds. Acetaminophen looks like this. Ibuprofen looks like this. So they're fairly similar. Naproxen, which is in Aleve, that's here. You can get like Meyer brand naproxen. And you can go through and you can start seeing that there's a lot of double bonds in there. All right. Zoloft, that's sertraline. And then loratadine here, that's Claritin, excuse me. And then this stuff, benzo alpha pyrene, this is can bind to your DNA and damage it. It's the bad stuff when you grill. You can see there's a bunch of rings fused together. Then as we move on down, vanillin, that's this guy. You smell vanillin in the smallest concentration of any compound. So the vanilla smells really good, and you don't need a lot. This is curcumin that's in turmeric. That's really good for you. Piperin, we already talked about before. There are double bonds there. Epinephrine, I find epinephrine to be fascinating because it's a compound that your body releases, and that compound somehow interacts with your system and starts doing things. Heart rate goes up, vasoconstriction, you start burning through blood sugar, you start breathing harder. And what's neat about a compound like that is you can study human evolution through the eyes of chemistry. Like when we got this compound, was that helpful or hurtful? It was helpful. Sodium benzoate is a food preservative. It's fairly common. And then BHT is this right there. That does it for chapter 13. And we'll jump to 14 next.